Hi, and welcome to Concordia Today. I'm Lori Graham.
And I'm Jacqueline Liu. Stay tuned for an interview with Susan Baumer, Concordia's triathlon coach, and a report on Concordia's Fine Arts Department. But first, the news.
Concordia's fourth rector, Dr. Frederick Lowy, is ready to roll, although he admits he's unfamiliar with Concordia's departments and faculties. The rector's position has been plagued with controversy in the past, but Lowy hopes students will judge him based on his own actions, not on those that preceded him. He wants to build on Concordia's reputation as a school that welcomes students from all walks of life. Lowy will officially take the title of rector on August 15th.
Last week, fine arts student Jonathan Carruthers was elected as the student union's president, and the vote wasn't even close. Here's Jeff Blond with a look at the school's latest president.
There's more to Jonathan Carruthers than meets the eye. The Concordia Student Union's newest president may have been elected on the strength of fine arts students, but he feels it was his best advantage.
I knew where my strengths were. I'd been representing the fine arts for the last 2 years now, and I've done a good job, and people know who I am.
One of the obstacles Carruthers hopes to tackle is Concordia's divided campuses.
It's very problematic that we have two campuses because physically our student body is divided not only by walls, but a great distance, and the only thread that exists between these two campuses is this bus that you can't always count on all the time.
Carruthers is planning on spending much more time with the students than past presidents have. So how did he feel when he learned he had won the election?
And, I was totally ecstatic. I'm so excited about being the student representative.
Although Carruthers was elected on a fine arts majority, he has promised to try to unite all of Concordia's student body. Only time will tell whether he's successful. He enters the Student Union's doors on June 1st. For Concordia Today, I'm Jeff Blond.
Students voted on more than just the new CSU executive in Concordia's last election. There was also a referendum question on a proposed Student Bill of Rights. Students voted in favor of the bill, even though it doesn't give them any new rights. It simplifies and consolidates regulations from across the university. The bill has passed, but it's not yet university policy. It still has to be approved by Concordia's faculty and administration. Another referendum question with the final version of the Bill of Rights will be presented to students next fall.
More and more companies are hiring students straight out of university. So this year, Concordia held a second career day at the Hall Building mezzanine. It was called Wired. Lauren McCallum has more.
It was standing room only in the mezzanine for Wired. 3 panels were there to discuss how new technology affects jobs. Students like Erica Graffender had a chance to ask questions to professionals in her field, and the answers she got were very encouraging.
Do you think it'll be easier to find a job after this experience at Career Day?
Yes, because I'll know who to go to in order to get a job, because you can't, no matter how much experience you have, if you don't know who to talk to, you won't get a job.
Students were encouraged to drop by the Career and Placement Office, which helps them find jobs all year round. For Concordia Today, I'm Lauren McCallum.
Concordia Today isn't the only success story on this channel. There's also Anthropology 202. An Introduction to Culture is Concordia's only telecourse, but its 225 student capacity has been filled every term. Like any other course, it runs for 13 weeks. There are 2 multiple choice tests and a final paper. But unlike any other course, it lets people take a university class without having to visit the university itself. The course has been running since 1991. Because of its popularity, more telecourses are in the planning stages and could soon be on television screens near you.
In Polynesian culture, Hunakane means inner soul, and it's one of the oldest philosophies in the world. The philosophy attempts to heal the mind, body, and soul of destructive emotions. Raven Lamouridad has traveled around the world demonstrating the particular technique of Hunakane massage therapy. Diane Kuzian has more.
Hunakane therapy is a combination of massage and dance. Raven Lamouridad says the purpose of the experience is to release mind and body tension.
When I'm doing the demonstration that I just did now, I'm not really thinking. I'm just allowing. I'm just flowing with the dance and the energy. It's almost like I'm in a bit of a trance.
Hunakane encourages nurturing of the soul, something modern societies have forgotten about. For Concordia Today, I'm Diane Kuzian.
A warning to Concordia students. Big Brother may be watching. Canada's intelligence service allegedly spied on Concordia's Irish Society in 1993. Agents from the Canadian Security Intelligence Service, better known as CSIS, supposedly questioned 2 members about their involvement in the group. In the same year, the spy agency said terrorism in Northern Ireland was part of a range of threats to Canadian security. The Irish Society was angered by the agency's interrogations. It claims the actions were racist. CSIS has refused to comment on the case.
The sights, sounds, and smells of the Arabian Peninsula filled the mezzanine last week. Concordia's Arab Students Association gave students a chance to take a look at its exotic culture. Sabina Kashka has this report.
Students got a song and dance and a lot of enthusiasm. Then there was ornate art and, of course, the food. It was an exotic bazaar right at the mess. For Concordia Today, I'm Sabina Kashka.
Concordia art students are proud of their work this semester, so they've decided to set up their very own drawing exhibition. 20 fine art students from the Drawing 200 class organized the event. It's the first time in the history of the painting and drawing department that a first-year class has undertaken such an effort. Students work together to find financial aid to pay for the studio where the works are shown. The exhibit will run through April at 372 St. Catherine West, Suite 328.
Hundreds of feet of film, tons of edits, several rolls of splicing tape, and untold man-hours go into making a 10-minute student film. But once it's screened in front of class, what next? Well, it's time to hit the film festival circuit. Geneviève Napier visited Montreal's Festival of Short Films.
Some were dramatic, some risque. Others were experimental, and a few were just plain funny.
You want to buy?
They were part of Montreal's 3rd annual Short Film Festival, a chance for 6 Concordia students to screen their films outside of the classroom. Topics covered a lot of ground, ranging from peanut butter sandwiches to vices.
And I know with every drag and every toke and every gulp, but I am certainly killing myself.
One even tackled the age-old question of how to come out to Mom.
Robin's my boyfriend.
Mom manages to take it in stride.
Put the knife down. I don't see you for 2 weeks and all of a sudden you're gay.
But Bubby has a few problems.
Not Jewish?
It's a very specific medium. Very short, very tight, very in 2 words, punchy, and that's it. You have to go.
The short film is an important medium of expression, especially for students on a limited budget. Festivals like this one help out the form and the student.
Well, when you spend $2,500 on a film and you get to screen it once at your year-end screenings, you're kind of looking for other avenues to get to show your product.
Film festivals such as Montreal Short Film Festival give up-and-coming directors a chance to strut their stuff. For Concordia Today, this is Geneviève Napier.
And in sports, Concordia's athletics department is looking for a new head coach of women's basketball. This following a season that was less than satisfying under present coach Mike Hickey. They finished the regular season with an even 6-6 record, but were forced out of the playoffs in the first round. After reviewing the program, the Athletics Association has opened up the position of head coach. They'd say it's one way the team can be improved. Applications for the position of women's basketball head coach will be accepted as of June 1st.
That's the news for this week. For Concordia Today, I'm Lori Graham.
And I'm Jacqueline Liu. Stay tuned for an interview with Susan Baumer, Concordia's triathlon coach, and a report on the Fine Arts Department.
Thanks for watching. Have a good week.
Concordia's Fine Arts Department has a good reputation. But is it preparing its graduates for the harsh realities of the art world?
We're in the Concordia University Visual Arts building in a painting room right now talking with Patrick, who is in fine arts and will be graduating soon.
So how does it feel knowing you'll be graduating in a few weeks?
Well, I'm pretty nervous, although I've got something lined up, which I'm very lucky to. A lot of people and our students in the Fine Arts building, or just in arts in general, have problems finding jobs, and fortunately I was able to run into someone.
So you're presently working for an artist. What does that mean? That you're doing parts of his work?
Well, right now I'm his apprentice essentially. I stretch his canvases, I tape up his paper, and I do reproductions of decorative work. Not necessarily his work, but what I'll do is we have a series going for this company, and it's all repetitive, and we essentially like do step by step, paint by numbers kind of thing.
How difficult is it to have recognition as an artist?
Difficult in terms of self-promotion?
Yeah.
Well, there's ample opportunity to exhibit all over Montreal, but essentially these opportunities are hidden. I mean, there's no big advertisements allowing you to or offering a chance for students to exhibit. It's mostly people who are actually working in the field of fine arts. For students, there's not much, but fortunately Concordia has an exhibition room downstairs in this very building, which allows you to exhibit. They have like some kind of jury, and they choose from that jury.
Is the jury students?
Yeah, part student, part teachers.
So this showroom downstairs, students get a chance to show their work, but who's watching this? Other students, or is there any chance that other people come in?
Well, yeah, that's an interesting question. I think essentially it's students and teachers.
Well, do you feel that the program itself tells you what to paint, or were you able to paint what you wanted to paint and do the projects you wanted to do?
Essentially, we are all influenced by each other. You have an environment of students where you're always interacting and you're seeing each other's work, which is good. It's like this community. You get feedback, you get input, you get output. It's great. But in terms of business-like, there's nothing. I don't think there's any course relating to business and art, which is unfortunate because...
What do you mean by business and art? What do you have to know about business?
Well, you kind of have to promote yourself. I mean, you can be some great artist and you can have all this great work, yet if no one knows you, no one's going to buy. You don't have a pot to piss in.
What would you recommend to the school as far as changes are concerned?
As far as changes are concerned, I would recommend a business arts program, or for students to take a business program. I mean, whatever you take, whether it be philosophy, English, you always have to promote yourself. You have to know about the business. You have to know about how to get in there. Because if you have no idea of what business is about, you're going to get nowhere.
Do you feel the program's competitive?
Competitive? Well, see, perhaps in painting, perhaps in sculpture, maybe there's an edge of competitiveness. But in printmaking, there's none. I mean, it's like this big family. Essentially, we're all interacting with each other. We're all commenting on each other's work. There's no big goal for the highest grade. I mean, your work is an emotional thing. It's a personal thing. I mean, it shouldn't be judged on its quality as technique.
Considering jobs are scarce, students should realize that they might have to compromise their artwork.
This is what we call art prostitution. Art prostitution is when you actually bend to accommodate the needs of the general public. I mean, you're compromising everything, but I mean, you have to do these compromises. You have to live. You have to make money. And plus, it gets a name out of it for yourself.
Concordia's University Fine Arts program was a first step for Patrick. He is now graduating, feeling ready for the art world, about to gain recognition for his work. What about students still in the program? How do they feel about gaining recognition for their artwork? How are they going to deal with the outside world?
For me, I've done that before, even shows here. I just do art that will aggravate the art community, because I find that either there's too many statements in art or it's too highbrow and it alienates society. So that's my specific goal, to get recognition. I want to be known as a shit disturber.
I think you get recognition by doing things well. So I think that first I got to have a lot of studying to do, like not just at university, learning about, I mean, art really is a reflection of society. So it's a reflection of yourself. It's like it's what you have inside showing forward.
Getting personal recognition for my work. I'm not sure. I'm kind of have been at a stage so far where I work a lot with groups and not very much as a solo performing artist, and I think I may develop more in that area of doing stuff by myself, like developing a one-woman show that I'm kind of have an idea about.
Concordia's University Fine Arts program provides ample opportunity for students to show their work around the school. The general public is welcome to walk into the Fine Arts building and to observe the different pieces of artwork on display. The problem is, how many actually do? In order for students to gain recognition for their artwork, they have to get their work out to the public. This is not an easy job. In order to accomplish this, they can't wait for the public to come to them. They have to go to the public. This is Fernanda Maiorino for Concordia Today.
Welcome back to Concordia Today. I'm Lori Graham. Joining us today in our studio is Susan Balmer, who's the coach of Concordia's triathlon team. Welcome to the show, Susan.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Let's start off with the basic. What is triathlon?
Triathlon is one sport that consists of 3 different sports, which is swimming, cycling, and running. But it doesn't mean that if you're a great runner, you can be a great triathlete. You have to do all the 3 sports and combine them in a triathlon-specific format.
Not many people know about the triathlon team at Concordia. How long has it existed?
Since 1992, actually. We started the team, myself and some people at Recreational Athletics, and they asked me to come in and coach. So I did.
And have you competed in triathlon yourself?
Yeah, I was competing before that since 1986, actually, in all the distances.
And do you still compete?
I stopped actually for a few years and was just running due to an injury, and this year I'm going to compete a little bit again. So.
And is the team mostly made up of Concordia students, or do we have other local residents that join the team?
It's open actually to anyone. The students, of course, pay a cheaper price, cheaper fee. But it's about half and half. Half the kids are students from Concordia and half are students from other schools, CJEPs, or just people in the community.
So who do you compete against? Other universities?
Well, local clubs actually, local, regional, provincial clubs all over Quebec. The triathlons here are not university-oriented. They're open triathlons for anyone.
Community-based?
Yeah.
And have we had a lot of opportunity to travel, or?
Well, some of the team members go to some races in the States or Ontario, that kind of thing. No one's really gone really far. Like last year were the Worlds in Australia, and nobody went there because it was just too far.
Too expensive.
Too expensive. Yeah. Even though a couple of the girls qualified, but yeah, it was too far.
What about the training schedule? You're training with 3 different sports. How do you manage to balance those 3 aspects?
Well, all the team members train probably about 5 or 6 days a week. For sure they get 1 day off a week. I insist on that, although some of them don't like to take it.
That's a heavy training schedule.
Yeah, and they're normally doing 2 of those sports each day, and 1 day they do all 3.
Wow.
Yeah, each team member gets from me a personalized training program, and we have 4 training sessions per week in the different sports that are coached with me. So.
And how do you develop the training schedule with the student?
Well, I just sit down with them. People who come to the team have to come with a certain amount of fitness. You can't come from sitting on a couch to being a triathlete, because I just can't deal with that. Plus, people who I have who are quite experienced.
So there's no beginners then?
Well, I have first-time triathletes, but they're not. But they've been doing something. They've been running or swimming or something before. And then I just sit down with each one of them and make a program which is specific to their needs, their time schedule, and their level of fitness.
And what's the psychology behind the training? Switching one day from running, the next day to cycling, or?
Well, it's actually, in some ways, it's a lot easier than training for one sport, because it's a bit easier on your muscles. If you're a runner, you train running every day,
right?
And so you can become injured much more quickly. Whereas in triathlon, you can train running one day and cycling the next, and swimming and water running or something the next, so that you're always giving your body a break, although the general fatigue level can be a little higher.
How do you prepare yourself right before a competition?
Well, I get together with the team certainly before the first competitions of the year. We go as a team, so that the team has support from all its members. And before that, we sit down and we talk about the race, what it's going to be like. We do a lot of visualization, going through the race, feeling good about it, knowing that each member, especially the beginners, will get through and will feel good.
Do the students get to practice the route before, or?
If possible, yeah. The first race this year actually is in Monthabitant, which is just an hour outside of Montreal. So we go and ride the course, swim in the lake, do the run course, because I've been there many years, so I know the course really well, just so that they're familiar with it.
If your training schedule is during the winter and you compete in the summer, what kind of support do you have from the university? Do you have large turnout from university students?
No, at the races, no. But there's people come with their families and friends and so on. It would be great if more university students came and watched the race. I don't even know if they know that they're going on, so.
How does Concordia rank?
They're probably middle of the pack in terms of the clubs right now in Quebec. But we have a lot of talent on the team this year, so we'll probably move up. In fact, I'm sure we will.
Have any students gone on to compete internationally or in any of the Ironman races? Or?
Not yet, but they will. There was one girl last year who was on the Quebec team at the Nationals, and a couple of others who qualified for the Worlds, as I said before. So, depending on the proximity of where these races are, we would go. It just, Australia's a little far, but maybe the US or whatever, Canada is less far. So.
What do you think the attraction is to triathlon? A lot of people watch triathlon even though they don't watch other sports on television. They don't watch football, hockey. What's the attraction?
Well, I think the Ironman certainly has created a real mystique about the sport. It's something which is, because it's an individual sport, and the athletes go out there and they're not just competing against other people. In fact, even the top people in that kind of a sport don't really compete against anyone else. They compete with themselves and against themselves. And so there's a lot of psychological barriers to break and physical barriers. It's sort of undoable and doable at the same time.
What are your goals for this season?
I would like to have as many people go to the Nationals as possible this year, I think the Nationals are in Alberta, and some on the Quebec team. So, and then for the beginners, I would just like them to get through their first race and feel really good and enjoy the sport.
We wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. That is Susan Balmer, who is the coach of Concordia's triathlon team. Stay tuned for more Concordia Today.
Heart disease and stroke are Canada's #1 killer. Your donations fund education and medical advances that save more lives each year. Thanks to research, he has a pacemaker. She has a grandfather. Help give someone a second chance. Please give generously to the Heart and Stroke Foundation.
That's Concordia Today for this year. We hope you've enjoyed our program for the season. We'll be back next year with more Concordia Today, brought to you by the Audiovisual, Communications, and Journalism departments.
If you have any questions or comments about our show, please call us at 848-3440, fax us at 848-3441, or email us at our internet address, studioa@vax2.concordia.ca. Thanks for watching.
And have a good summer.